dick move.
As we say offensive things.
I think I say the most offensive things, but I also don't want this to turn into a competition.
Everything's a competition.
No. God damn it.
With people that are one-uppers. Oh my god, I was so tired of that this weekend.
Oh, at the archery shoot?
Well, just anytime, like, both of my brother-in-laws are one-uppers, and Peach can understand that.
Yeah.
And then,
especially one
so
of
yeah,
them.
but they're both, like, they're on equal level. So, you put both of them in one room, and, yeah.
One's like, I have a bad itch, and then the other's like, no, my itch is bigger.
Yeah. Like, my itch is 3 inches wide. No, mine's 6 inches wide. Okay, guys, calm down.
Mine's in the center of my back where I can't reach. Where's yours?
Just whip them out and measure them. Let's go. Come on, let's get this over with.
Oh, God.
You had fun otherwise, though?
Yeah, it wasn't terrible. It was always fun with the little ones.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good.
They do anything?
Oh, everything. You name it. We had an Easter egg hunt. They painted birdhouses, and they refused to give me one.
I mean, they're birdhouse, man.
Yeah. They all actually shot. So even the 4-year-old, she was up there with her little tiny bow and her little arrow.
Aw.
And she didn't always make it to the target, but she tried.
How far was the
Hey,
target?
Harper.
Was it standard or was it like closer?
Like 5 feet.
Oh, come on, put it 30 feet away. Let her work for that.
Remember that
Wow.
whenever you take at us.
Yeah. Dad, I can't reach it. Doesn't fucking matter. That's 30 feet away.
So-
You shoot it like a goddamn man.
Yeah,
I'm done.
my one niece that's 7, she was doing really good. Like, for not practicing very often and not doing much.
Mhm.
She was standing a little close for her age, but so like the little ones are like 5 foot and she was like 6 foot, right? Dramatic, but she would be like a yard or a couple yards away, and I was like, no, you gotta back up a little bit. So
It's funny.
She mastered the upfront approach, right? So they can get a bow near the face.
yeah,
She doesn't have to roll for disadvantage.
yeah, pretty much.
Perfect.
But I think she got a buckle, so she was happy.
Aw. Self-promo.
Put out some pictures today. Nothing in my office yet, as you can see. Just
Yeah.
dark. You can't even really see the color. Move that closer. You can kind of see it like that.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. Oh, there you go. Yeah, you're gonna have to like balance your camera differently to the light levels now.
I'm gonna have to stop using my current webcam and start using my Canon instead, I think.
Or as NJ calls it, the see your butthole camera.
I thought that I thought that was the ring light.
The ring light.
Yeah, that's a ring light.
Yeah, so you could
You gotta make sure it's
properly shine your butthole. Oh my god.
yeah. Yeah, you gotta make money on OnlyFans.
I was gonna say, and this is Peach's OnlyFans tips of the day.
Yeah, there you go. Tips from Peaches.
A lot of dudes are gonna be real disappointed.
Oh man. Their fault for looking.
Well, a lot less than 5 years ago. I mean,
Hmm.
guys are a little more accepting nowadays.
Yeah.
That's true.
You might find a bigger audience now.
I mean, honestly, that's too telling of
It's
what
like-
I've seen in the past. But I mean, I've seen comments on specific threads where they'll be like, "That dude has a nice dick," and like a whole bunch of other guys will post below it. So
Oh yeah, we sexually compliment at work all the time. No more sexual harassment. We got rid of that.
Just compliments.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's all positive now.
But it has to be
Yeah.
the same gender. You can't go up to Sharon and be like, "Wait, is there anyone at your work named Sharon?"
No, I'm pretty sure not.
Okay, you can't go up to Sharon and be like, "Hey, Sharon, nice tits."
Well, that's sexual harassment. See?
Exactly. So it has to be another
So-
guy. So you go up to
So
Eric
it
and you're like,
all
"Hey, Eric."
it all depends on the person and what you gotta understand. The person has to set their limits,
Mhm.
and then you have to be within their limits.
I remember waiting when they played the game, the ball sack
Yeah.
game. Like, that's sexual harassment. Basically being like a
Yeah.
flasher. So I had a half day today and I went with J-Bot to go get her second tattoo. She has like one snake tattoo on her arm and then a skeleton of a snake on her lower arm. That's what she got today. Looks badass.
It looks fucking sick, dude.
She's excited. Ooh, and then I don't have any more PTO until we leave for Colorado.
Poor thing.
I know. I only get 5 weeks a year.
Oh
God.
my god.
And I don't have to accrue it. Oh, life is hard.
I know. I get my 3 weeks, and at the end of the year, they're like, "Are you gonna use it?" It's like, if I do, everything will fall apart.
No, you use your
Do you get
use your
paid out?
goddamn PTO. You make sure someone
Hell
else knows
yeah.
how to do your job.
So they try to put me salary, and I say no.
That's nice. I wish we got a payout of our PTO because ours is use it or lose it. So I'm like, hell yeah, I'm using it.
Well, that's mine. Still, mine is use it or lose it. But I get 3 weeks without having. At the first of the year, I automatically get 3 weeks, so I don't have to earn it.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Kind of like the shitty side of one and the good side of the other.
I get my 2 weeks at the beginning of the year. I've never had more than 2 weeks.
It's every 5 years you get 1 week. You max out at 5 weeks for us. That's in our handbook.
It's nice. I think. Go ahead, NJ.
Oh, as I say, I came in at 4 weeks offered, which is very generous for PTO. And then at my 5-year, I got an extra week. I'm in my 10th year now. I don't know what I get for my 10-year.
I think you get another
Probably-
week.
Pin. A very
Probably-
nice pin.
A pat on the back.
I think so. If I remember correctly, it's supposed to be 10 years is like a $300 pin, right? Like a custom, supposedly, and then 25 years is a Rolex.
Damn.
want a Rolex?
Is that your company? Shit, sign me up.
No,
son.
not my company.
Oh.
But that's what the gift
Standard.
structure. Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. You would have.
Can I have some Bitcoin?
Instead of the Rolex, just 2 Bitcoin.
Pretty soon. So,
mean,
where's
you-
your company based out of, though?
New York.
New York. Okay, so longer than most people. But New York did just start passing legislation to actually like classify it as an asset, so it might be sooner than later.
Nice.
Mm.
Too sure. I would like a free toaster with my company's coloring and logo and everything on it. I mean, that'd be pretty cool. Not gonna lie.
A toaster.
Yeah, a toaster.
Do they hate you?
I mean, like, give me an air fryer, man.
Right?
No,
Like,
a
who
toaster
even
air
uses a
fryer
toaster
combo.
anymore.
I use a toaster sometimes. Sometimes
You don't
I-
have an air fryer that toasts your bread?
No.
Not yet.
You know, just for
we can't
just
decide if we want to get a 2-quart or like a 4-quart.
6-quart. Fuck it. Go big or go home.
So like ours is a standing with shelves in it, and that's what I would recommend.
So-
You could find one like that.
How much is that in non-American in liters?
6 pints? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Let's see. There's.
Pints is still American though.
I know. Liter- But again, there's what 1 quart is equal to 1 liter, I believe.
I don't
Okay.
know.
Or
man.
it's like
I was
know.
never taught the metric
Yeah.
system.
I was taught the metric system for ammunition. That's it. you know, 5.56, 9mm, 10mm.
I was taught the metric system for computers because everything's just getting smaller. So like the IOs and the diodes for processors are all measured in metric. So yeah, we're
in
now.
America we use the.
Go ahead.
Huh? What?
I was just gonna say processors are now below a picometer, which is that reverse U thing, like the uTorrent. That was picotorrent, actually. Anyway, that's all.
Here in America we use metric system for drugs and ammo. That's it.
Susie has 5 cocaines. You take away 3 cocaine.
How many grams of cocaine does she have?
Yeah, there you go. Wait. So my mama said that there's 28 grams in an ounce. Thank you. How does your mom know that? Drugs.
It's a sad reality. For just $1 a day, you too can support an American.
Okay, so a funny story, right? We went to lunch at Taco Bell, and one of the guys, like, brand new cup, was sitting down, and his tray slid, knocked the cup over. And so he went, he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Like, if you got towels, I'll throw them down or something." They're like, "No, no problem." Like, this kid comes out, and he's like, "Oh, I was just hanging back there anyway. I didn't have anything to do." And so he's all, like, happily mopping this, having a conversation with us.
Aw.
So I learned that this kid moved from Florida, is living here, wants to be a history professor,
Aw.
and he hates Ron DeSantis. We're like, okay, good.
Yeah, fuck Ron DeSantis.
hope
You're
all-
fucking
I
right,
hope-
kid.
I hope all his dreams come true.
So do I.
Random kid at Taco Bell. We're gonna post this on a misconnection on Craigslist.
We want to
We
be your
hope
friend.
a group of millennials would like to adopt you.
Okay. Starting order. It's gonna be Keelan, Norma, Ethan, and Alan. Unless if Ethan wants to go first. Ethan, do you want to go first?
No,
Say
okay.
anything to go first. Anything at all. Just any word. Perfect.
And then tweet order.
No, it wasn't
Yeah,
Jay.
tweet
She
order.
says,
No, yeah. Tweet order is order of topics. Okay. Are y'all ready? Oh shit.
Let's
I'm
do
not
this.
ready.
Let me mute myself. 'Cause, I need a call.
Okay. I'm gonna pause the music. Thank you for waiting, ladies and gentlemen. Oh. Damn it.
The topics we discuss
I'm gonna get a cleaner start of that.
are many,
No story too bold to talk about.
Strictly our own opinions.
But they are opinions from people like you.
Welcome to the Naked Podcast.
Chocolate? What are they selling? Chocolate? Hey guys, it's Keelan.
Coming at you live from my newly painted office. This is your Ryan J.
hashtag free Jim Bob. It's Ethan.
Is he related to Bob Jim?
Yeah. They both stormed the Capitol together.
Hashtag jail bomb Jim. Tag Alan. I'll go in the opposition on that. Just jail them. Jail them all.
Storm the Capitol? Go straight to jail.
Don't storm the Capitol, straight to jail.
Plot to throw overthrow the government? Straight to jail.
Grow plants in your backyard because you don't want to pay the government? Also, straight to jail.
Pretty much.
Collect rainwater? Straight to jail.
As you could tell, our favorite TV show is Parks and Rec. Thank you for coming to the Naked Podcast.
I have somebody on my Facebook who's under house arrest because
shit.
I'm pretty sure they were there January 6th.
Dun, dun, dun.
Is it anyone you know?
No.
Okay. I was curious.
There's been a lot going on with. I've been seeing a lot of headlines about the January 6th committee and like all the updates and charges.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, yeah. So far, it has been what, a year and a half almost, we can say, right?
Like
We're pretty
a
close.
year and a couple of months.
Yeah, a year and a quarter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a year and a quarter. Okay, and they
She's
still
18
haven't.
months.
Right. And they still haven't like even convicted anyone of
18 months and
any
4 days.
serious crimes. The largest crime so far has been trespassing.
I mean, I've seen so much going on and so many news article updates about it. Like, there's already enough evidence to be able to charge former president Trump.
There's no evidence.
Oh,
There's
no.
no evidence at all.
No, there's a ton of evidence, but it's whether the prosecution
there's
or not
zero.
want to go up against it. No, they've said they have evidence.
Well,
Well,
so-
that doesn't mean they have evidence. They also said
They had
the
to
Steele
produce the
dossier was
evidence.
real. But
That is also
we
true.
found out that wasn't. So, but
Well-
that's the thing, that there's no evidence to even charge the people they've arrested already. That's why they're getting acquitted right now.
Mhm.
Well, so I read from Enrique Terrio, that former head boy, Proud
Yeah.
Boy, like the details from his indictment. It produced a plan to like surveil and storm the government buildings called the 1776 Returns document. It doesn't mention the attack on the Capitol, but it does target like high profile government buildings, and the timeline is set out like really closely resembled the attack. But I also read that prosecutors have not accused him of using that doc to guide the actions for the charges against him or any of his like co-conspirators, what they're calling them, co-defendants. But it may help prosecutors charge him with conspiracy, even though he wasn't there. Like the guy wasn't there. He got arrested for vandalizing a Black Lives Matter flag like 2 days before. So he wasn't there. He was in jail.
Yeah, and he also, at the time of the storming of the Capitol, was already an FBI informant. Like, he was already a Fed informant.
There was like
It-
5 stages to the plan. So it's like infiltrate, execution, distract, occupy, and sit in. And it's a 9-page doc saying to like recruit 50 people to each of the 7 government buildings, and like not to appear suspect or appear tactical, but basically cause trouble to distract security and then infiltrate the buildings. So like that to me is like, I can see the charge for seditious conspiracy.
Well, against him and his conspirators, yeah. But that's the thing. That's not what the January 6th committee is about. The committee is about to crucify Donald Trump, which, yeah, the dumbass said bad word. Well, he probably didn't say the right thing. But
Mhm.
we're dealing with the same thing. So Joe Biden alone, when he was in Ukraine, babbling on, he said, I got into this race because Donald Trump said there's fine people on the Nazi side, right?
What?
Which, yeah, so he that's been his stance that's why he says he entered the race for 2020, because when Charlottesville happened,
The Charlottesville happened. Got it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I'm
and
up to
we've-
speed.
yeah, and we've all gone over that. We've all watched the video, right?
Mhm.
I'm not over it.
But he clearly misrepresented. What Trump said was clearly misrepresented. There's no question about it. Because when you watch the whole video, he clearly says, and I can fully condemn the neo-Nazis. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the people who are on the side of the history of it. Okay? And I can understand that because I went to a school that was named after Robert E. Lee, right? Like, we don't condone what he did, but we were, it's just like that was our history. It happened. We can't just ignore it,
Yeah, we shouldn't. We should learn from it.
right? And so just for that, I'm not a Confederate sympathizer, right? Like, I don't think we need to tear down the school, but, we can at least recognize what the problem was and still teach and talk about it.
I agree. Yeah, we shouldn't erase history because then we have something like Fahrenheit 451 happening.
Yeah, in the January 6th committee, trying to say Trump was trying to overthrow the government doesn't make sense because he was still giving a speech when they started the going in, right? It's
So why
we're
doesn't he
we're-
just release the 6 hours worth of phone calls that he made leading
because
up to?
again, eventually it comes to the point of why would you incriminate yourself, right? Because if somebody's looking for something, they're gonna find it, no questions asked, right? If your mom goes into your room to clean your room, we all know what she's doing, right? But does that mean that you're gonna go show your mom the Playboys under your couch or under your bed? Like, they're there. It wasn't.
Yeah, but
the
Trump
thing
is
they're
not a
going after-
teenage boy that's hiding Playboys. Like it's a lot more serious than that. So if to clear his name, like wouldn't you want
No.
to see?
No, you. So if you, but see, that's the thing that you're coming from a perspective that the justice system is fair and honest, and the other side of this is viewing the January 6th committee as a partisan witch hunt, right? Like I watch the committee meetings, right, and I've kept up with the updates, and we can all agree that it was bad taste and the situation was overall bad, right? But we don't to put it on the other side, right? We all saw riots in the streets for months on end, but we never saw a committee about it, right? So more people died, more property damage, and more things happened in those demonstrations than at the Capitol. The only reason the Capitol is going so hard is because it inconvenienced Congress at the time.
I also,
But what we're finding
I don't
out,
think that.
yeah.
I do. I seriously think that. What? And we're finding out from the updates that are coming out from the court cases that are being settled by grand juries, not by bench trials, but actual jury trials, that the people were let in, and the people who did break windows and the people who did break property are the ones going to jail. But the hundreds of other people that were arrested, imprisoned inhumanely, held in solitary confinement, and all the other atrocities that's happened to those people, we're finding out that those people were let in by Capitol Police. So are we going to continually hold people in jail and deprive them of human rights just to prove a point that after 2 impeachments, this is the only way we can stop Trump from ever being president again?
So
And that's what it feels like this is going towards.
So I could see how that can seem how that's how it's playing out, and I'm gonna sit down and actually watch through some of the committee meetings, but a couple things to point out. I don't think comparing the January 6th insurrection to the Black Lives Matter
it wasn't
protest.
an insurrection. We're going over that.
Oh yeah.
The
The
that's what I'm
January
saying.
6th.
So that right there, I don't mean to cut. I don't mean to keep cutting you off.
Mhm.
It was a riot, right?
Yeah.
We can call it a riot.
Okay, the January
But
6th
it wasn't
riot.
as what the court cases are coming out. It was not an insurrection.
Okay.
And the FBI themselves are on record and on their website on record for saying that they do not believe that they can label that an insurrection.
Okay, then let me rephrase that. Instead of January 6th insurrection, January 6th riot. I don't think it's fair to compare the January 6th riot to the Black Lives Matter protests, only because yes, there was
the
a
Black
lot of
Lives Matter
property
riots. They were riots.
So there were riots after the fact of the Black Lives Matter protests, but those are started not only by certain individuals, but also by Antifa and other small groups. And that's been proven to this point. But I still don't think that comparing everything that happened both during and after the Black Lives Matter protests is correct to comparing it to the January 6th riots. Well, there were riots that did happen afterwards, and I'm not discrediting those riots. I don't think that.
I got you. I just to clarify a little better. So during the Black Lives Matter riots, we had billions of dollars in public. So I'm saying public, like streets, everything. Billions of dollars in damages. We had over 25 deaths where people were murdered on the street. I mean, the guy David Dorn, right? A retired police officer murdered so that somebody can loot a TV. And to compare that to a bunch of oafs and dumbasses that wandered into a publicly owned that's they went into a building that's called the House of the People.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so doesn't make sense that's insurrection, because technically it's taxpayer owned, taxpayer funded. Those were taxpayers. Did they do the right thing? I think we all agree no, right? That's not how you air your grievances. But
Yeah.
what they did overall was thousands of dollars in damage, not billions.
Mhm.
They disturbed Congress for an hour.
Yeah, and that's
Black Lives Matter riots disturbed us for 2 weeks.
and that's
I-
where I wanted
so
to lead with that too.
I
like-
think you can compare that. There are similarities in the situations.
Okay. The other thing I was going to say is for the reason that we held all those people without any charges, that this is why the Patriot Act should go away. Like we
Yeah,
shouldn't
no,
have
I'm
held
with
those
you.
people for that long. We should have never ever had the
Considering-
Patriot Act signed into law.
Considering that, like, most of these people were probably just like, I don't want to generalize it, but like probably just like your regular dumbass off the street, right? Like that's
Yeah.
just kind of going with the flow. And like, yeah, I'm amped up and I want to do this. And it was, the certain people like the Proud Boys that had an actual plan and they're using these other people as like distraction tactics. Like, shame on them. Like, that's stupid. Like, what you did was stupid and it was wrong. But I do agree that the way that they were treated after the fact was not okay. And I think that was just trying to get a handle on the situation. And the way I think that the Black Lives Matter riots and, this January 6th attack are different is that, yeah, it caused a lot of damage and there was a lot of bad actors in both. Totally agree.
Yeah.
In one, on the January 6th attack, the amount of damages is not as substantial. I get that. But I think in the way that they differ is like their causes, right? So the causes were more about systemic inequality rather than like overturning an election. Like those are two very different reasons.
But to come back to him, what the people storming the Capitol believed was that the election was fraudulent, right? And there was a lot of questions we all had during the election, and it seemed too perfect, right? We don't expect a government program to be perfect in a way. And to think about it, we had 95% turnout for voters on 2020. Like, that's weird. But not to another thing is, I mean, everybody should be well aware of the federal courthouse in Portland that was literally under medieval siege by Antifa and Black Lives Matter rioters for over 100 days. They were launching fireworks at the building. They tried to set the police station on fire. We had the no-go zones where they cornered off blocks and they shot people who tried to drive through it. We had 2 teenagers that were gunned down by over 300 rounds into their SUV because they turned down a street that was controlled by Antifa and Black Lives Matter.
And those
Right.
people should absolutely be prosecuted to the highest form of law.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
But that's if you compare it to the small, like you were saying, you can't put a figurehead to Black Lives Matter, right? But there is an organization that's led behind it that we have seen them do corrupt things already with the money. There is the houses they've bought that mysteriously sold to So like, there's one Black Lives Matter founder who bought properties, right? And within a week turned and sold them to Black Lives Matter's organization for housing of lower income families, right? This $6 million mansion that they sold to Black Lives Matter for $10 million, right?
And
so there was no.
Yeah, why isn't
They-
the
they
SEC
were-
getting on that?
that's
They are
disrespectful.
filing.
Good.
They're filing. It's going
Yeah.
through courts, but that's what I'm saying. Like that's. So if we're following cases that have courts and filings and evidence and things that are going in front of juries, that when we compare those Black Lives Matter stuff writing to the January 6th writing on that aspect, the January 6th they're getting slapped with trespassing or acquit of all charges. When we have people getting prosecuted for items that happened during Black Lives Matter, where attempted murder, arson, embezzlement, there's a whole lot of other items that. So to compare the two events, that's where I'm coming from. That's the items I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
So you're thinking about it from like a fiscal and like lawsuit perspective.
Well, that's the law. That's all we can. So courts are there to determine facts, not anything else, right? Like that's why the Supreme Court justice that was just nominated, like she said, "Hey, we don't interpret words or anything. We just state the facts and the facts of the situation." So, if we're gonna go off the most factual items, we're gonna go off court documents, and that's where I come at, or that's my opinion.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like anything that comes out in court, that's held up to the law. But even then, like it's
and
we
What's
still
next
have like
for-
corruption in there. But yeah, what's next?
Well, that's the big question, right? So the January 6th committee is getting no progress on any real big fronts. They haven't filed any real charges against anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's been indicted through it. And it just seems like at this point, they're just searching for something, right? And that's, do we want our law system to prosecute laws that are brought to them, or, crimes that are brought to them, or do we want them to go look for crimes to prosecute?
Yeah, I prefer the prior, not the latter.
Yeah. So after a while, and to come back to your point of why doesn't he turn it over to, look innocent? Well, let's go back to what Hillary Clinton's lawyer was just indicted for, was paying for the Steele dossier from the Russian agents, which then he turned over to the FBI, which then was used for a FISA warrant, which then was used to spy on the Trump campaign from 2016 and 2017, which then that FISA warrant did not expire until 2020, and that is why they are subpoenaing and trying to get all information, because that FISA warrant was null and voided, and they could no longer keep tabs on him. So they were on Trump himself. The FBI was watching every move and listening to every conversation, reading every email from the day he went into the Oval Office to the day he left. And that FBI has said that they are not indicting anyone on conspiracy or insurrection. That was not an insurrection. So why is the January 6th committee still going? Yeah.
I mean, I could say the same question for that one OnlyFans girl who was it, killed her
Is it a
boyfriend
mental
and just sat there.
institution?
Yeah.
Why is she arrested?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of the question not many people have on their minds, just because this story of Courtney Tailor murdering her boyfriend is not getting a lot of publicity right now. The main thing that they're saying is that it was a domestic alteration that led to it. Apparently this isn't the first. And it's honestly just crazy. Like, how are there not like any charges? How are they not holding her longer for questioning? So Courtney Tailor and her boyfriend, I'm going to butcher this name.
Just call him by his nickname. He had a nickname, right?
Christian Umbunselli.
Umbuseli,
Butch.
thank you.
Ooh, so-
April 3rd, police were called out to their complex for domestic disturbances, and they pulled her out in nothing but like a shirt, like a crop top and some pants covered in blood. And, we could see her. There's a small video of her sitting there, hands behind her back. She seemed to be compliant. And then we recently had the other video pop out of a woman who saw her at a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the hotel bar. She was there to meet with her father. And the woman pops out her phone. She's like, "You're a murderer. You should leave." Like, you should get out of here.
Oh, that's the one that you sent us afterwards. Okay, yeah.
That NJ sent.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Just kidding. I thought. My bad.
Yeah.
One of us in it.
Yeah.
At this point, the investigation is ongoing. They might rule in her favor for like self-defense. Because there's a neighbor who was quoted saying that, you know, they've seen him hit her, like take a swing. They didn't know if it was open or closed-handed. But like their friends are like, no, we've never seen him hit her. We've always seen her hit him.
These are her acquaintances too, from what I read.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and she has millions of followers apparently on OnlyFans and Instagram. And so it's just kind of like, why is this not getting more publicity? Why are we not getting some more details at this point? You know, it seems pretty cut and dry.
Well, the Christian Omanseli's family had come out and said that within 24 hours, the detective on the case like prematurely concluded it was just not a crime of violence. And her lawyer saying like, yeah, like she's definitely a victim of domestic abuse, so she acted in self-defense. But prosecutors at the Miami-Dade state attorney, they're saying there's no reason to believe in self-defense. And I think a lot of that is like her behavior, like the night of the incident, and then going to the police station for questioning, she was like, I'm going to kill myself. And she got, you know, put into a mental institution soon after the hotel incident. I don't know.
I was going to say, do we know if she's still there?
That's what I wasn't able to find out.
Yeah, because if we're seeing her at the hotel, then she's probably not anymore.
No,
she might be on bail.
No,
they didn't arrest her.
No.
Oh, that's true.
They took her in for questioning and let her go.
Woman privilege.
Yeah.
I think that's more like white woman privilege.
Yeah, it's white woman privilege right there.
And that's what one of his friends was tweeting. She was like, don't let them twist it into like an angry black man scenario. Like, he wasn't like that. Full of love, full of life, full of joy. But then at the end of the article that you sent, NJ, it talked about how she may have even been a victim of human trafficking.
Yeah, what was that about?
What?
That her lawyer said that.
Yeah. And so, you know, actually found his family's GoFundMe page, and I read a little bit about that.